Shalom and good day all, this is T-Healing29 back again for another Marvel comic, or some Marvel comic reviews, and in these Marvel comic reviews I'll be covering Godzilla vs. the Avengers and MoonKnight Fist of Khonshu. I'll now get things ready and organised for the first one that I'll be reviewing. So as we move into the Godzilla vs. Avengers, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. Next is the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So, as the story begins, we have a little bit of a look into some past events, and it's basically overlooking as to everything that's taken place in relation to Godzilla versus the Marvel characters, and we see that Godzilla here ends up going up against the character of Fin Fang Foom. But what's this? How did this event take place and occur? As the story advances towards the middle, we get the character known as Jet Jaguar coming in to try to intervene with some of the events that have taken place. And last but not least, towards the end, to which some things are a little bit stirred up in the situation and cause almost a bit of a disaster of sorts. But of course, we have the heroes coming in being heroes to make sure that no one is injured in the situation. So for the internal art, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, as I actually quite like what they did with the character of Godzilla, as well as Fin Fang Foom, who I did not expect to see in this issue. Next is the area of the story. So the story rating consists of time, location, and cast. In the area of time, we had now used a couple of times. We had then used, and of course, even earlier also used in the area of time. Next is the location of where this was taking place in the story. We learned that it was taking place in Oregon. And last but not least, the cast of characters consisting of Maria here. We had, of course, Captain America, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, and Spider-Woman. We also had Godzilla himself, because he's one of the main parts of the story. Jet Jaguar, as well as Fin Fang Foom. My rating for this is a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into MoonKnight Fist of Khonshu. So as we start to move into MoonKnight Fist of Khonshu, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Not so much, to which I give the cover a 5 out of 10. Yeah, it is dropping, and I am wondering if I should start to drop the series. If you know anyone has dropped the series that might have a YouTube channel, let me know in the comments. So let's move into the next thing, and that is the area of the internal art, but also what's happening story-wise with the characters. Of course, we get a bit of a heads up of what has happened in the previous issue. To where we are now. And as the story begins, we start to move into the area of the bunker. We also do get a comic book reference, which was a surprise to see. But is it enough to save me picking up more issues of this story, or just dropping it all together? As we move towards the middle of the story, we have the members of the Midnight Mission also doing their part, as well as the exploits of Carver within the story. So what Carver's role is against MoonKnight. We still have what Achilles Fairchild is doing. And last but not least, towards the end, to which we get to catch up with MoonKnight and the rest of the members that make up the Midnight Mission. So for the internal art, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10, as I feel it's sort of dropping along with the story. Next is the area of the story rating itself, which consists of, considering we had a comic book reference, we have now a comic book reference in this, but is it enough to save the story rating? Next is the area of time, followed by location, and last but not least, the cast of characters. So, starting off with the comic book reference, we had the Wasp from the Wasp series, issue from 2023. I think it was issue 4 or 41, one of those, as to how they put it in the actual story. The area of time, we had then, now, then, and later being used. The locations that were spoken about were the Midnight Mission. We also had the bunker and somewhere else. Last but not least, the cast of characters consisting of MoonKnight, Achilles, Detective Fraser, Carver, Tigra, Hunter's Moon, 8-Ball, and last but not least, actually, I'm surprised we didn't see Soldier as well. Of course, the character of Reese. For my overall rating, it is a 5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.